Cursed. A story by Fluff Dragon. Part 4. A dry breeze blew across the sandy road as Markus rode into the village at last, grateful that the sun had begun to set. Even after the week-long ride, the world still seemed so small without Adrian. He dismounted from his stallion and led the animal toward the inn at the center of town. The horse nuzzled his pocket, and Markus found himself unable to breathe for a moment. It had done that every night, regardless of not getting the typical snack from Adrian. But the reminder still felt like a bag of bricks had slammed him against the chest. She'd loved her horses as if they were her children. What Markus saw as only a mode of transportation, she considered her most valuable treasure. After himself, of course. Maybe. He waved the horse away and it snorted in disgust, twitching its tail. The inn stable hand took the stallion's reins with a bow. Markus hesitated for a moment before stopping the lad.
Give him a treat or two. He's earned it.
He ensured the road stayed clear before bringing out his dagger and carving a single curved line into the threshold, nodding to himself in satisfaction. That would get the attention of the cultists, or his name wasn't Markus Giles.
Would you tell me when you people want to meet? I just had my doorway replaced last harvest.
Markus looked up to the full, ruddy face of the woman he assumed was the innkeeper.
Sorry. They told me.
I don't care what they told you. If they told you to jump off from Fledgling Peak for a meet, would you? Never mind. You probably would if it means seeing one of them bats up close. Idiot outsiders. Here, get inside before you deface any more of my property, eh? We already got a Fledge doing enough of that already.
The innkeeper yanked Markus into the building and sat him down at a table.
I'd rather have the corner.
Oh, you would ya? Tough luck, love. You either deface my property, or you get the table you want. Can't have it both ways. Sit down and tell me what you're wanting while you wait. Shouldn't be too long before them robes get here.
Markus frowned.
You mentioned a Fledge. You have an adolescent dragon in the flock.
The innkeeper sighed, looking around her dining area as if wishing there were anyone else to talk to.
Yes, an adolescent dragon. Yes, it's been burning this place to charcoal. No, it don't happen very often, but it ain't unheard of in these parts. No, I don't know why they like it here so much. The Drake cult will handle everything. We ain't worried a mite.
Thank you, Agnes. We'll take it from here.
Markus blinked as the innkeeper huffed at the hooded figure behind her and marched away from the conversation. By the way the newcomer had every inch of his body covered, his face obscured by a hood, he knew he spoke to a member of the dragon cult. The robes were more ornate than he recalled, however. Perhaps this one had a higher ranking in the hierarchy? Markus held out a hand.
I know.
I'm here to...
I know.
How?
Follow me.
Markus frowned, but stood and followed the cultists through the inn and out a back door. The sun no longer held any power over the sky, and the stars danced in celebration of their liberty. Crickets sang in the tall, dry grass, and the smell of dust and horses permeated the cool breeze that wafted through.
I do not think it good that you are here, King Markus. But I understand why you came. This Fledge has done great damage. Her power scares even some of our most experienced drakes.
It killed my wife. We didn't even have a body to bury.
The figure paused, the inky blackness within his hood facing Markus.
I see. So it isn't only pest control that brings you here.
I'm not seeking revenge.
But you do have questions. If this were any other case, I'd send you back. But we need you, Markus. She needs you.
She? The Fledge...
A black mass hurtled through the sky, so close that the updraft sent Markus staggering forward. The cultist watched him, unaffected, and shook his head.
Any other case?
They continued into the bare, spidery trees, toward what Markus assumed was the fledgling dragon. Steeling himself, he forced his hand away from his sword and stepped into a clearing of broken trees and flattened shrubbery. The dragon flailed about, roaring and snapping at the forest around it, clawing at the earth. The robed cultist stepped forward, his voice exasperated.
Again, you must let go, my dear. Don't fight it, or it will hurt all the more.
The dragon turned to its would-be instructor and snarled, folding and unfurling its wings as if in indecision before its entire body shuddered. Its scales seemed to fold into themselves one by one, and it shrunk, wings gluing against its back, claws softening in shape and color. Chocolate hair replaced horns and crest, and the dragon's muzzle curved into nose and lips. Markus froze as the dragon stood in the clearing, naked as its day of birth, covered in raw, spiraling scars, and ran to it as it knelt in exhaustion.
Adrian?
His hand drew back as he touched a large gash on her shoulder, a scar not as graceful or flowing as the rest, and he choked. His wife looked up at him, and she withdrew, glaring at the cultist.
You weren't supposed to show him, Claudius. I wanted to do this on my own terms.
It was necessary, or I wouldn't have. You need someone to ground you. I failed, and you scared off everyone else.
Adrian blushed. Markus remembered to breathe at last and sucked in as much air as he could, stroking his wife's hair to reassure himself.
I'm not dreaming, am I?
She smiled, wrapping her arms around herself and shaking her head as she stood.
No. I'm sorry about the castle and the guards. How are their families? Did you...
Markus cut her off with a kiss, wrapping her in his arms with such force that she squeaked. Claudius stepped away.
I'll leave you two for now, but remember, we still have much to talk about.
Adrian tried to respond, but Markus wouldn't let her. He had to touch every part of her, smell her, taste her. The past week felt like a nightmare, and just now was he waking up. His wife pulled away, catching her breath.
Well, that's a different response from a week ago. You know, you almost got me through the heart. 2 more inches and...
Don't.
Markus scowled.
I thought that a dragon had eaten you. How did you expect me to react?
Adrian took a shuddering breath and held him closer.
I don't know. I was still in shock. Claudius said instinct took over. He was amazed I had the presence of mind to fly away instead of killing you and everyone else in the palace.
They stood there for a moment, Markus trying not to dwell on horrifying possibilities.
So... now what? Ivan doesn't want the throne, and Havid wants it too much. Do you think we'll go home, or...
She sighed, snuggling into his chest.
Oh, let's not decide right now. I'm just glad you're here and not utterly horrified at what I am.
Markus grinned.
What you are. You're my wife, first and foremost and always, Adrian. The dragon part will take some getting used to, I won't lie, but it'll certainly spice things up.
Adrian smirked and snorted, dainty puffs of smoke blowing from her nostrils. Markus tried not to look nervous.
You have no idea.